Hello and greetings to Leadership Shorts. I hope you'll find value. I'm sure you will. My name is John Jurisic and I'll be your host. I'll be your content creator, your entertainer. So the goal here is to review scenarios, experiences that I've had in the past throughout my numerous business, community, and organizational activities, and go a little deeper into those things, and then reflect on the leadership qualities, strategies, and lessons learned. The goal being here that you hopefully will relate to the experience and see how working through the experience, muddling through the experience, might be of something that you're also going through and working through. And then as opposed to seeing the cup as half empty, seeing it as half full, and gaining leadership strengths and experiences that can then benefit you in future activities. So let's start. March 2020. Amongst many hats that I wear, one of them is I help organize a monthly networking meeting that is called the Sidney Breakfast Club. And that group has been meeting since the early 90s, actually, here in Victoria, British Columbia. And it's fantastic. It's one of the better networking groups that I belong to. And it's face-to-face. It's monthly. It is arisen from a group of government workers that wanted to commercialize their ideas around ocean marine sciences back in the mid-90s. And they thought, what a great idea. But then it occurred to them that they might not have the required business experience to commercialize and have successful businesses. So they met. They called themselves the Sidney Breakfast Club and shared challenges, shared ideas, shared experiences, and together they then learned their way out of those things. Not unlike what this entire content series is about, providing shared experiences and learning from them. Fast forward to about 3 or 4 years ago, I actually now manage that group. I love it. It meets once a month, and in the morning, and we were confronted with what everyone in the world was confronted with, COVID. And in March of 2020, we had to stop meeting. And so a whole bunch of questions arise out of that, of which I think solving them is really reflective of leadership resiliency and adaptability, something I think that is a very key strength of mine, and I'd love to share these experiences, how I handled them, etc., with you guys. So we're now facing a scenario where we can't meet anymore, as well as a ton of other things going on at that time. And a key objective for everybody was, how do we get semblance of normal life back? How do we get some piece of that? Because we were forced to stay in our homes. Short of essentials, we couldn't do anything. And so I really had to reach back. My choices were, well, we just stopped meeting. No, that's not going to happen. There's a challenge. I'm going to overcome it. Resiliency, adaptability. Then had to be a technology solution, right? Because we couldn't meet. Now, I happen to have quite a bit of technology background, so somewhat familiar territory, but still, what platform to use? Because most of us hadn't been online meetings till that date. I know there was Google, I think at that time there was like some Google groups. I'd heard of Zoom. Microsoft Teams, maybe some other platforms, but they weren't common knowledge. They weren't something all of us could adapt quickly. I did the research, and I decided that we would meet monthly using the Zoom platform. Thank goodness I picked that, by the way, because that's kind of what everyone else did. Now, what did I do in that instance? First of all, research. Secondly, I then let everybody know that we are going to continue to meet, but online. And that I would hope that they would come online and join me. And we're going to use Zoom. So it was, I was met with some resistance. Of course, people going, you can't network online. Yeah, how are you going to share experiences when you're in a little box on a screen? Well, besides the fact that we had no choice, we persevered. We pushed through. Obviously, the networking was not as strong, but people sure appreciated being able to say hi to another human. If you recall, for about 3 months, we were really stuck. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know where this was going. Maybe longer than that, 6 months. So we started meeting online. All of a sudden, the speaker became ostensibly more important than the networking, because hard to touch and feel and say hi to people when you're online. Not that that's what networking is all about, but you know what I mean. And so obviously we did that. I'm the MC, I'm the organizer of these meetings, and when we met, I really worked hard. I strived. I made a point of being very positive, and that this was temporary, and we are going to continue to grow as a group, grow as human beings, and this is something we need to do for now. And people appreciated it. The group averages about 35 to 40 people in person, and that's about what we averaged online. I was quite startled. I thought I'd have 6, 8. Of course, I had to then put together a rather comprehensive instruction sheet. We didn't know how to get on a Zoom. We didn't know anything. How much it costs? Was there a free version? Did our computers have enough juice? Did they have enough broadband? You know, there was so much confusion. And so I created an instruction list to hold people's hands, ostensibly, through the process. And it worked. There were some folks, as with all technology adaptation and integration, who, despite the best of efforts to help them be ready for technology, new technology and technology adaptation, you know, the meeting would start and I'd get phone calls. How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, guess what? I worked people through that with patience, with understanding, and we met regularly through Zoom, monthly, in the morning. Even though, you know, the whole point of the breakfast meeting was that you would meet before, share experiences, learn, and then go to your work. We did decide to meet a little later. So instead of meeting at 7, we decided to meet at 8, because a lot of people didn't have to drive to their work or anything like that, even though they were still working from home. Of course, that was another big piece, wasn't it? Working from home. Everyone started working from home. And some people struggled, some did not. But once again, adaptability and resilience were key behavioral strengths that folks had to have, or learn to have. Then, of course, COVID started to end because people were getting vaccinated and people were incorporating behavioral techniques to avoid getting sick. And we eventually went back to meeting face-to-face. Although we had a stop-start sort of thing while, if you recall, about a year and a half after March 2020, COVID actually, we thought we beat it, and then it came right back in the fall. So we had to kind of, okay, we're going to meet, now we're not going to meet. Yeah, once again, we could have stopped. We could have all just said collectively, screw this. But no, we didn't say that. And I led them through that morass, not entirely knowing where we're going to end up. Meeting online for the rest of our club's existence? No. Interestingly enough, when it was very clear that we could meet again, I put out an email to the group. The mailing list is quite large, about 600 people. And I did say, shall we meet online? Shall we meet online as opposed to meeting in person? Well, I was nearly run out of town. People needed to come back and meet together. So lessons learned. Oh boy, ton of them. Adaptability is crucial. Adaptability is crucial. You've got to learn to bend and break a little bit and adapt to your new environment in whatever you're doing, as long as you're doing stuff. I was able to get speakers from out of town. I could get folks from, in fact, we had a couple from out of province. So another lesson learned was that we increased our accessibility and reach. And as long as we had to meet online, that was kind of a benefit. Doesn't work really at all once you start to meet in person again, but it was when we weren't meeting online. Certainly the efficiency and convenience of the Zoom meetings has its own, entire chapter and book around efficiency and convenience of meeting online. Did it help our digital communication skills? Yes, it did. We developed those. Not so easy to talk to a screen. Different. When we talk to each other, there's nuances. You're looking at how people are reacting to what you're saying. Sometimes that's more difficult online. So we had to learn new digital communication skills. Obviously, maintaining engagement was a key lesson learned. We could have not done anything for 2.5 years. I doubt the club would be running at this time. And when we did reinitiate meetings in person, the club doubled in size. We're now averaging 55 to 60 people every month. So certainly maintaining engagement was very important. The world has had to build relationships virtually, haven't we? It's tough. Right now, if I speak to people about meeting somewhere or meeting with them, I offer them a chance. Do you want to meet virtually or do you want to meet in person? Almost universally, people say, come on, let's meet in person. Maybe ongoing meetings we might be able to meet digitally, but people like to meet people. Technical challenges, wow. There were some time, as much as I tried to maintain a very positive attitude about helping people get onto Zoom in those early days, some just couldn't understand how to do it. And there were a few people I said, I've helped you as much as I can, and now you're really on your own. I can't help you anymore. So lessons learned were overcoming technical challenges. And of course, a last lesson learned, I might add, would be that we have adopted a hybrid future, haven't we? We're now meeting digitally, we're meeting in person. We're now working digitally, we're working at home. We're now watching our media, our news, digitally, and on traditional forms, a newspaper, TV. So the future of our the way we do everything changed, didn't it? And we adapted. So my hope here is that you look at all of this and you might relate my scenario to something you're involved with, and that by talking it through, listening to me, seeing the lessons learned, seeing the leadership qualities identified, seeing some of the strategies involved in keeping this particular networking club going, that you might see the similarities between my experiences and your experiences. And from that, you will maybe match and identify some leadership qualities, strengths, behaviors that you can utilize in the future, and that you can build your own leadership skill sets and apply it to your businesses, to your networks, to your personal situations. So thanks a lot for listening. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to be doing a ton of these in the future and reflecting upon my experiences, and I'm hoping you'll find that of value. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.